You can now build beautiful 3D websites in minutes thanks to the new update of Claude Code and Nano Banana 2, even if you don't know how to code. And in this video, I will show you how you can build these premium websites that stand out from all the other generic AI websites that you see online. The best part, we're going to build everything from scratch using a simple 4-step framework that all the best website designers use. So by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to create these premium 3D websites that you can sell to clients or use for your own business. So let's get started. But before we start building, I want to first show you this website that I found just to show you the full possibilities of 3D websites. Since as you can see, this website is actually super clean, and when I scroll through it, a lot of different animations play in, which are all advanced 3D effects that I will show you exactly how you can build in this video. Same with this dinosaur website. As you can see over here, we have a T-Rex, and we can start scrolling through it, and we can see this animation play out. As you can see, this is super futuristic and clean, and once we finish this animation, we can see the rest of the website. So now that you saw what is possible, let's start building our own website using Claude Code and Nano Banana 2. And alright, let's start with step number 1, which is to generate the starting image of our animation. And we're going to be able to do that using the Nano Banana 2 model that Google recently released. Now, to access this model, you need to go over to Google AI Studio and navigate over in the playground, which I will also leave a link for in the description below. Then you will simply need to give it access to your API key, and you will be able to use it exactly as I am. Now, let's say the website that we want to create is a website for a beverage company. And specifically, I went over to Google and I found this beverage over here. Now, I do want to point out that this is just a random beverage that I found on Google. I'm not affiliated with this company at all, but we're going to use it for this example and build a website for this specific product. That's why I'm going to come over here and I'm going to download it in my MacBook, and then to generate a good looking starting image for our animation, what I'm going to do is I will come over here and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click on the plus icon and I will click on upload files. Then I will make sure I upload the image of the product that we just downloaded, and now I need to go over and type the prompt so Nano Banana knows exactly what I wanted to generate. Now I actually searched in the web and I found this website over on Dribbble, which I actually really like, and specifically I really like how their beverage is being displayed. So we'll basically copy this section over here to the right, and as you can see, they have a beverage on top of a table and they have a very nice background that also doesn't take too much of the focus of the website. And since we want to generate the starting image that our animation is going to have, what I'm going to do is I will come back over to Google AI Studio. I'm going to say, hey, so what I want you to do is to put the beverage that I gave you on top of a table, and I also want you to have a very nice looking background that also doesn't take too much of the focus, since I want to use this image in my website to promote this beverage. Make sure you keep the beverage intact exactly as it is and don't change up its label or the bottle. So this is our prompt. Now I can go ahead and add more things, and a matter of fact, I will actually come over here to Dribbble and I'm going to take a screenshot of this specific section of the website, and I will come back over to Google AI Studio. I will also upload this image and I'm going to say I gave you a second image, which is a very good example for how I want my beverage to be displayed. So you can take inspiration from that. And now that we also gave it a visual example for exactly how we want our beverage to be displayed, we need to come over here and tweak the settings a bit in order for us to get the exact type of image that we want. Now first, make sure you actually come over here and you select images only. Then for the temperature, I'm going to leave this on 1. For the aspect ratio, I'm going to change this and I'm going to make it 16:9, since we want this to be basically for a full website. And then for the resolution, make sure you actually come over here and you either do 2K or even 4K, because 1K is not going to be a clean image. Now, since I can, I will do 4K, which is the best possible quality. And then for the thinking level, I'm actually going to make this high, since I do want the best possible result and I don't care about fast generations. And now that I have selected all the settings that I wanted, all I have to do is to simply come over here and send over this prompt. Now this is going to trigger Nano Banana, which is then going to go and generate the starting image of our product. So now all we have to do is to just sit back and wait a little bit till it is done. And boom, Nano Banana just finished, and as you can see, this is the image that it generated us. Now we obviously do need to make some changes, specifically remove the text from over here, but I would say this is a pretty good starting point. But let's go ahead and improve this even further. Now the first thing that I want to do is to turn the table white. I also want to move the eyes a bit, so there is some eyes more towards the edges as well, and of course I want to remove all the text. So let's go ahead and make all these changes. Hey, great job! What I want you to do is to first of all remove all the text that you have inputted over in that image, except the label that is in the bottle. Then I also want you to move the eyes and also put some in the edges of the image, so it's not all concentrated next to the bottle. And I also want you to turn the table white. So now that we typed our prompt and we basically told the Nano Banana what we want, all I have to do is to simply come over here and send over this prompt. And now Nano Banana is going to make the necessary changes. And boom, Nano Banana just finished, and I think you guys can see that this is a way better end result. Now what I also want to do is unzoom a bit from the product, since in the animation I'm going to have it explode. So what I'm going to do is I will come over here and say, what I want you to do is unzoom a bit from the product, so it's not as close to the edges of the image, because I'm going to create an animation with it which I will make it explode, so I want some extra space to work with. And now all I have to do is simply come over here and send over this prompt, and boom guys, the generation just finished. And as you can see, I also made a change to the background. I made it very similar to this background that we see over in the Dribble website, and it's totally normal to not get the result that we want with a first try and us having to play around with it so we can get the exact image that we want, because this is literally the most important part of the whole process, getting the starting image right. And now since we have a starting image, it's time that we first come over here and we download it, and once we do that, we can move over to the next step, which is to take that image and create an animation from it. And to do that, we simply have to come over here to the top right of the page and click on the Nano Banana model, and then we need to come over here and switch from images to video, since what we now want to do is to take the starting image and turn it into a full animated video. So to do that, I will come over here and I'm going to choose VO3 3.1, which is the best model for turning images into videos, and I will simply click on continue, which is going to open up a brand new chat interface over here. As you can see over here to the right, we have a bunch of different options. First, we can select the aspect ratio that we want and make sure this is on 16:9, since this is going to be a horizontal video, and then for the video duration, make sure this is also either 6 or 8 seconds. And then for the output resolution, I will actually come over here and select 1080p, since we do want very good quality, but we also want our website to load fast. And if we have a video that's super high quality, this is going to impact the loading speed of our website. That's why the sweet spot is 180p. And now that we have selected the settings, we can come over here and generate our video. So the first thing that we have to do is to simply come over here and click on the plus icon, and then we need to click on upload image, and of course upload the starting image that we just generated. So now that we have our starting image, what we need to do is to basically describe the video that we want to generate. Now my idea with this is having the bottle spin a little bit at the start, and then have it explode and have the juice that's inside the bottle fill up the whole screen, and then the user will be able to scroll down in the other sections of the website. Now I know this might sound a bit weird, but once you see it in practice, you will see that this actually will look super clean. So now what we need to do is simply come over here and describe exactly that over to VO3. So we'll come over here and say, hey, what I want you to do is to first spin up this bottle a little bit and then have it explode and have its juices fill up the screen, since I want to use this animation in a promotional video for that product. So I think this idea will look super clean. But make sure you take into account that this is for a promotional video for that product, and create a super clean video. And now that we type the prompt and we basically explain to VO3 exactly what we wanted to generate, what I will do is I will simply come over here and click on run. So now V1.3 can take our starting image and turn it into a video. Now this is going to take some time, so I'll just simply let this run in the background and I will be back with you once it is done. And boom guys, V1.3 just finished generating the video, and I actually had to play around with it a bit because I didn't get the exact result that I wanted with my first prompt. So I gave it some feedback and this is the final result. So if I actually full screen this so you guys can see it.
One shot to recharge. Experience the explosive flavor of ginger, guarana, and lemon.
As you can see, the bottle first starts spinning exactly as we wanted, and then the bottle explodes and all these fruits come out of it, which is exactly what we wanted. So now what I'm going to do is I will come over here and I'm going to download this, and once I do that, it's time that we actually go ahead and start creating our website. Now to do that, you will first have to go over to undergravity.google, which is the ID that we're going to use to access Claude Code, and I will also leave a link for it in the description below. So simply go over in the website and download Undergravity for your operating system, and once you download it and you open it in your PC, you're going to see this interface over here. Now the first thing that you need to do is to simply come over here and click on Open Folder, and then you need to select a folder which has the video that we just downloaded. So as you can see, what I did was create a brand new folder that's called New Video, and I simply copy and pasted the video that we just generated and downloaded over in that folder. And now all I have to do is to simply come over here and open this folder, because once I do that, you will see that now Undergravity is going to have access to the video that we just created, which is exactly what we wanted. But again, we're not going to create our website with Undergravity, we're going to create it with Claude Code, which means that we also need to install Claude Code in our Undergravity instance. And to do that, we simply have to come over here to the left of the page and click on the Extensions tab, and then we need to come over here and search for Claude Code, which is going to give us the Claude Code extension for VS Code. And now all you have to do is to simply come over here and click on Install. And what this is going to do is install Claude Code in our machine, which is exactly what we wanted. And now how we can access Claude Code is by simply coming over here to the right and clicking on the Claude icon, which, as you can see, opens up an instance of Claude Code inside our Undergravity instance. So now that we have the video that we're going to turn into animation for our website, and we also have successfully installed Claude Code, which is the coding agent that we're going to use to create this website, it's time that we actually go ahead and finally build out our 3D animated website for the beverage company that we selected. But before that, let me actually send over a message to Claude Code and see that it is actually working correctly, and as you can see, we get a response, which means that now it's time that we go ahead and tell Claude Code exactly what kind of website we want to build. But before we do that, what I want you to do is to type in /plugin, which is going to give you this option over here that says Manage Plugins. And if you select this option, this is going to open up the plugin store, which is basically a place where there are a bunch of different plugins for Claude Code. The main plugin that we're interested in is this first one over here, which is the front-end design plugin, because what this plugin is basically a GitHub repo, which I can actually open over here, that includes the best practices for building unique and nice looking designs. And just so you understand how this works, every time Claude Code wants to go ahead and build a front-end interface like it is going to go ahead and do with our website, it's first going to look inside these instructions that tell it how to create good looking designs, and then it's going to follow them to give us a better end result. That's why we need to go ahead and install it. And to do that, we simply have to come over here and click on install, and this is going to give us these three options: install for this project or install locally. Now I will personally come over here and select install for you, and boom, as you can see, it was successfully installed and it is also activated over here, which means that if we now go ahead and try to build this website, Claude Code is going to use this plugin with the best front-end UI practices. And now it's final time that we go ahead and build out the website. So what I'm going to do is I will come over here and I'm going to say, hey, what I want to do is build out a nice looking super modern website for a beverage company. The company is called One Shot and it sells different types of juices like orange juice, apple juice, and many more juices. Now what I have done is I have created a video that I want you to go ahead and turn into a scrolling animation for the hero section of my website. So what I first want you to do is to go ahead and generate the hero section of the website, in which when I'm scrolling, this animation should play out, and when I stop scrolling, it should stop. Plus, when I scroll backwards, I want the animation to play backwards. So I want you to go ahead and build me this effect. And then for the rest of the website, what I want you to do is to go ahead and build me a standard website with all the sections that a good website should have. Make sure you also include product reviews, FAQs, and keep the usual structure that high converting websites usually have. And now that I finished my prompt, I basically told Claude Code two things. That I first want to build an animation via the video that we have generated in my hero section, and then I also told it to go ahead and build me all the other sections of the website based on the best practices that most websites use. But now I'm not just going to come over here and send over this prompt to Claude Code, because sure, it will be able to go ahead and build me this website, but it's not going to be the best possible result. What I'm going to do instead is I will come over here and I'm going to switch over to the plan mode, because I first want Claude Code to go ahead and reason and figure out exactly what I want and create a detailed plan for me, so I can then review this plan and say, oh, is this plan good? Should I improve something? And if it is, then I will tell Claude Code to go ahead and build me this website. So as you can see, I already switched over to the plan mode, so Claude Code can first go ahead and reason, figure out exactly what I wanted to do, and create me a detailed plan. And every time it is asking me for a command, I will simply allow it to execute it. And boom, as you can see, Claude Code just finished generating our plan. And over here we have the context, which basically tells us that it's going to go ahead and build a modern high converting website for one shot. Then it tells us the files that it's going to create, the brand identity that it's going to keep, and the website sections that it's going to have. First it's going to have the navigation section, then it's going to have the hero section, a trash bar, a brand story section, products, benefits, how it's made, testimonials, FAQ, CTA for the newsletter, and a footer, which is the exact website structure that most high converting sites follow. And then it tells us some technicalities about the video and how it's going to go ahead and create the scrolling effect, which is exactly what we wanted. Now the only thing that I could improve upon is actually give it a visual example of a website that we like, so it's more likely to go ahead and create a good looking website. So if you want, you can go over in a website like Dribble and search for the specific type of website you want to generate. In our case, it is beverage websites, and then you can scroll through all the websites that they have over here, and if you find one that you like, let's say maybe you like this one, then you could take a screenshot of it, give it over to Claude Code and tell it to follow a similar design. But since I really trust the plugin that we just installed, and I also want to see what a Claude Code is going to come up by itself, I will not give it an example and I will just let it run with the plan that I created right now, which means that now all I have to do is come over here to where it says, do I accept this plan? And click on yes and auto accept. And now is the time where Claude Code is going to go and it's going to start building out this website for us. It's going to build the animation in the hero section, it's going to build all the other sections of our website completely by itself. And as you can see, it already created a to-do list over here. So what I'm going to do is I will just simply let this run the background, let it execute all the tasks that it needs to, and I will be back with you once it is done. And boom, as you can see, Claude Code just finished and it tells us that it fully went over and built out our website. So now if I actually open it up in my browser, we can see this website over here. And if I scroll through it, you can see that the animation does indeed play out exactly as we wanted. And I think you guys can see that this does look super clean. And we can continue scrolling and we can see the rest of the website. Over here we have this section. Then we have all the different types of juices that we can buy, along with some super nice animations where we cover over all of these different options. Then we also have this section over here, some characteristics of our product. Then we also have some more information, some reviews from our customers, an FAQ section, and a call to action for people to sign up into our newsletter. Now I do want to point one thing out, and that is that initially when you build up this website, the animation that you have in the hero section might be lagging a little bit. If that is the case, what I want you to do is to go ahead and tell Claude Code to extract each individual frame and then play it out that way. And if it does that, you will see that you're going to have no lag at all. And I'm saying this because I did face this issue and that's how I managed to fix it. So now it's time that we go ahead and improve our website even further. Now how I think we can improve this is by adding in some more color in this website, because I do think it's a bit too dark right now, especially in this section over here. So that is one change that I want to make, and maybe improve the animations a little bit further. But overall I would say that this is a pretty good website, and you can also see that this doesn't look vibe coded at all. And that is because we installed that front-end design plugin, which basically instructs Claude Code of how to build interfaces that don't look like they were created with AI, just like this one. So now what I'm going to do is I will come back over to Claude Code and I'm going to say, hey, so what I want you to do now is to go ahead and add in some more color in the website. I think it's a bit too dark right now. So analyze the website and how it looks, and give me some suggestions for how we can add in some more color in the different sections that also isn't too much and doesn't make the website look bad. And now what I'm going to do is I will again switch over in the plan mode just to see what suggestions Claude Code is going to give me, and I will send over this prompt. And as you can see, Claude Code has already started working. It is analyzing the website, and now it's going to go ahead and create some suggestions for us that we can then take and use to improve the way our website looks. But while it's doing that, I do want to mention that if you want dedicated one-to-one access to me, so you can ask me any question about website building or anything else when it comes to AI, make sure you click the top link in my description and you come and join my school community. And now back to Claude Code. As you can see, it created these suggestions over here, where it is giving us a bunch of options about the color approach that we can take, and it is telling us that it can do the per section color zones, which is the recommended one, and it gives us some more options as well. So what I'm going to do is I will simply just go with the recommended one, and then for the color intensity I'm going to go with subtle as well, and I'll click on submit answer. So now Claude Code can go ahead and make these changes into our website. And boom, as you can see, Claude Code just finished updating our website. And if we actually go back to it and we refresh it, first we will go through the animation as usual, and once we're done with that, we can see the new colors over here on the website, which do look very good. Plus we can also see this nice orange undertone over here, along with this nice section over here, plus this section, again some nice orange undertones in the background. Over here we have the review section, and then underneath we have the FAQ section, and at the bottom of the page our newsletter, which again has this nice orange undertone. And I will say that the changes that Claude Code made were successful. They were very minimal, exactly as we wanted. We didn't want some massive change in the coloring, but it did add some nice color, especially in the fully dark sections. And now that we have made this and we're basically done building our full website, I want to show you how you can very easily deploy it over to the cloud, so then anyone with a URL can access it. Now to deploy this, we're going to use our anti-gravity agent that we have over here to the right of the screen. And specifically what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to the top and we're going to click on additional options, and then we'll click on MCP servers. And this is going to open up a list of all the available MCP servers that we have. Now what you need to do is to come over here and search for your GitHub MCP server. And once you find it, simply click on it, and this is going to open up this page over here, where you need to come over here and click on install. And this is going to ask you for your GitHub personal access token. Now to find this token, simply go over in your GitHub account and then click on your profile, then click on settings, and then scroll all the way down here to the bottom where it says developer settings. Then click on personal access tokens and click on tokens classic, and then over here you will be able to generate a brand new token by clicking on generate new token and selecting token classic. This is going to ask for your passkey, so make sure you input it, and then you will be able to create this brand new token. Now I'm going to call this token a website, and then over here you can select the expiration date. I'm going to do a custom one, and then you need to select all the permissions that you're going to give it access to. Now I will actually come over here and select everything, so my GitHub MCP can perform all these actions in my GitHub account. And once you do that, simply come over here and click on generate token. And what this is going to do is give you your GitHub access token, which all you have to do is to copy, come back over to Anti-Gravity and paste it in over here. But before you're able to come over here and click on save, you need to make sure you have installed Docker in your machine, because otherwise this is not going to work. So if you haven't installed Docker, I will leave a link for it in the description below. Simply install it for your machine, and once you do so and you open it up, you're going to see something like this. Now you don't actually need to do anything from this interface, simply just let this run in the background and then simply come over here and click on save. And what this is going to do is successfully install your GitHub MCP server. And now you need to connect one more MCP server, which is Vercel. But if you actually come over here and you click on MCP servers and you search for Vercel, you will see that Anti-Gravity doesn't have direct access to that MCP server. So how you can connect this is by coming over here and telling Anti-Gravity that you want to go and connect the Vercel MCP. That's why I will come over here and say, hey, what I want to do is go ahead and connect the Vercel MCP server in my Anti-Gravity instance. So go ahead and research and give me instructions for exactly how I can do that. And click on enter. So now Anti-Gravity is going to find the Vercel MCP and embed it inside our Anti-Gravity instance, which is exactly what it's doing right now. And as you can see, Anti-Gravity researched and gave us specific instructions. And the first thing that it's telling us is to go ahead and get a Vercel API key by clicking on this URL over here. Then what we have to do is to come over here and give a name to our token. I'm going to call it website. Then for the scope, I will select this project over here, and for the expiration day you can select the day which you want this to expire. And after you do that, all you have to do is to simply come over here and click on create, and this is your brand new Vercel access token. So now all you have to do is to simply come over here and copy it, and then come back over to Anti-Gravity, paste it in over here and say something like, this is my Vercel access token. What I want you to do is to go ahead and put it inside the MCP config in Anti-Gravity. So you go ahead and basically do all the setup with this token. And now simply come over here and send over this prompt. So Anti-Gravity can now go and configure the Vercel MCP server with you having to do very minimal work. And as you can see, that's exactly what it's going ahead and doing. It is updating our MCP config. It successfully updated it. And now we have access to the Vercel MCP as well. Which means that now every time we make a change in our website, all we have to do is to tell Anti-Gravity to go ahead and push it in a live website, and it will automatically go ahead and do that by using our GitHub MCP along with our Vercel MCP. And just so you understand how the infrastructure works, first we make a change and we push this change over to GitHub, and then Vercel takes the change from our GitHub account and then publishes it in a live website automatically for us. But in order for this to happen automatically, we first have to tell Anti-Gravity to go ahead and set this up. That's why I will come over here and I'm going to say, so what I want you to do now is to go ahead and create a brand new repo over to GitHub, push all the code of my app over there, and then publish it using the Vercel MCP. And now I will simply come over here and send over this prompt. And as you can see, Anti-Gravity is currently recreating this brand new GitHub repo, and it's also pushing all the code of our app over there. And boom, as you can see, Anti-Gravity also went over and published our website over to Vercel. I just had to restart my Anti-Gravity instance in order for it to recognize the new MCP server, and after I did that, it fully finished, and now we can access our website from this live URL over here. And you can see that this opens up normally in my browser and I can play through it, the animation goes through exactly as it should, and I can navigate the rest of the website from this live URL, which means that we also successfully managed to deploy our app to the cloud. Now I'm going to have all the related links that we use in this video in the description below, and as the top link in the description, I'm going to have a link to my school community, in which if you join, you can get personal one-to-one access to me, so you can ask me any question and get my guidance about anything when it comes to AI. It can be building websites, building apps, building desktop applications, getting customers, literally whatever you want. Plus I also offer a 7-day free trial, which means you can click the top link in the description, join my school community completely for free, ask me any question you want, and then if you don't actually like the community, you can leave and not have to pay anything. So make sure you take advantage of this free trial, because I'm not going to keep it for much longer, and you click the top link in my description and you join my school community. And I will be waiting to personally help you immediately when you join. but also YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy this video, in which I built an animated website using Anti-Gravity in Gemini 3. So make sure you go and watch that next, and I will see you over there.